Now for the second exercise. The second exercise is called It Starts With Me. What I want you to do in those 5 minutes that I mentioned before is I want you to think back, preferably to something very recently, like the day before or even that very day, where you had some kind of interaction with a person and somebody that you know well or that's a colleague, etc. And that interaction created an emotional response in you. You were excited, or more often, you were upset, or you were a little bit angry, or you're a little resentful, or you're insecure, for instance. You said something and maybe it didn't cause the reaction that you wanted, and you're worried about how they're responding to you, okay? And so I want you to focus on one of these interactions. It's not, I don't want to overload you. Don't go back tunneling through your past and all, going back to your childhood. Just one that happened like the day before, and to focus on it and to think in the following terms, okay? What is it that I did that maybe created this situation, created this response in the person that angered or upset me? Now, the reason I want you to focus on this is anytime there's an interaction with people, it's like an energy that occurs, right? And that energy is dynamic. It's never one person. It's never one person doing something to you or you to them. It's always a back and forth, a kind of chemistry. And if you pay attention to your interactions in daily life, you will notice how they're always different. So with your boss, there's a different energy that you have, maybe a little more intimidated. With your spouse or your partner, it's a little, obviously it's going to be very different energy. With your child, your son, or your pets, it's a different energy. Every single person causes a different kind of chemical reaction in you, right? And that reaction is a back and forth dynamic. It's never one way. So I want you to think of what is it that I did that might have contributed to this kind of tenseness or this excitement or whatever it is, and to think of the part that you played in creating it. So for instance, you know this experience in your life, that if you go up to somebody in a party and you feel insecure about it, or they come up to you and there's a feeling of insecurity, the insecurity kind of goes back and forth and it creates this dynamic where you both start to feel awkward. But if the opposite happens and you feel confident, it kind of creates this dynamic where you both kind of open up. I want you to think of that and be aware of that in this single interaction. What is it in your energy, in your mood, that probably contributed to this kind of emotional reaction that we're referring to, okay? And then, if you're able to focus on that, I want you to take it out in the real world and look at an interaction as it's happening in real time. And you'll see that sometimes the way you are, the way you present yourself, the way you feel has an impact on the way the other person reacts. I want you to notice that. I want you to be aware that it's not just the other person being toxic or being bad, but there's an energy that you have, that you bring, that is contributing to the situation. I want you to be aware of it, because now if you're aware of it, you can maybe control it. The point of this is not to make you blame yourself. Let's say you're dealing with someone who is toxic. It's not that it's your fault or anything, but oftentimes when we're dealing with a toxic personality, we are weak, or we are submissive, or we're allowing it to happen, or we're actually seduced or charmed by them. So we're bringing our own energy, we're bringing our own insecurities, our own weaknesses to the relationship. And if you're aware of it, it gives you the power to control them. So once again, in the real world, once you've mastered this exercise, when you're dealing with a person, just once a day, if you can do it for a couple minutes, that's all I ask. Step back and go, what is it about my mood or my energy?
Forever lover. In the depths of the darkest night, your love shines through, a guiding light. With every heartbeat, I feel your grace. In your warm embrace, I find my place. Darling, don't cry, don't shed a tear, for I'll be your fortress, I'll always be near. Those storms may trials and the tests we face, our love will endure, it cannot be erased. So dry your eyes, my love, and take my hand. Together we'll conquer.
What I say is involved, it is creating, it is contributing to the kind of emotions and the nature of the interaction that I'm having with this person. So that's the second exercise. It starts with me. Thank you very much.